title. He's kind of early in the season.
I mean, what do you think was kind of the difference in this one? Just kind of late in the stretch in the second half.
I think late in the, I mean, it was turnovers.
Yeah.
It was the turnovers. I mean, point blank. I mean, you can look at other things, but the turnovers get more possessions and they score on those possessions,
Yeah.
so that definitely hurts.
Gotcha. And then we talked to Fort Collins. I know Sonny's mentioned a couple times just maybe the effort and attitude not being there over the last couple games. I mean, do you feel like this was the response that you guys needed just to play as hard as you did today?
Yeah, 1,000%. I felt like everybody brought energy. Everybody came with the right mindset. You know, obviously it came down to certain things, and that's something that we're gonna have to get better at.
Yeah. Obi, I know obviously San Diego State, I mean, we don't like to talk about moral victories and stuff like that, but I mean, obviously you know where San Diego State is as a program. Having lost to them by combined 5 points in the two matchups, I mean, is this encouraging for you guys as a team?
Oh, 100%. You know, I feel like the two that we've lost, they're close games.
Yeah.
Always down to the details. The little possessions really matter. Like my two turnovers at the end, they really hurt us tonight. So, you know, those two possessions, if we can clean those up, I feel like we have a really good chance in this tournament. So I think we should stay on the right side, you know, all things positive.
Yeah.
What was it like to spend your last year, or be with this group of seniors for 1 year at Wyoming and get introduced and, you know, nearly knock off San Diego State? It's been a kind of an interesting journey for you guys the last 8 months.
I mean, it felt really great. It felt really great. We definitely felt the energy as soon as we walked out for senior night. Just looking in the crowd, seeing all the seats taken. It hurt that we couldn't get it tonight, but it definitely helped us. I feel like everybody had that extra edge on their shoulders, you know, just for all the people in the arena. I feel like, you know, it was a big help for us.
Yeah, you guys got a little taste of what this place can be, but do you feel like in a few years when Sonny gets it going that you'll be a part of that? We're the first team to kind of get it turned in a direction, at least competing wise, at the top of the Mountain West.
You want me to?
Nah, either way, you just ask me.
No, for sure. I think his culture, I mean, he just started, so I feel like down the road, it's only going to grow. It's only going to grow, and I'm super glad I was a part of it just to start it off. And I'm thankful for all he's done as a coach for all of us, and we're ready for the third season. I'm just hoping that we can continue to make history and try to make something special happen.
Donzo, you mentioned obviously the turnovers, but on the defensive end, I mean, Sonitz was talking yesterday about how games are won on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, do you feel like you kind of showed up on that end a little more tonight compared to maybe Reno, Colorado State that come to some past games?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you just watch the games, you can just tell that. But yeah, no, for sure. Everybody came with, like I said, everybody came with the right mentality. Those tactical things that we, as a team, need to clean up. But overall, I like the fight. I like the energy.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is today's kind of an opportunity to show maybe other teams in the Mountain West that you guys are a team that is going to be a tough out in Vegas?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, at this point, as a team, I mean, we're all just trying to prove it, you know, like continually every day show ourselves. At the end of the day, like we're doing it for us, Wyoming, the staff, everybody involved in this great organization. So as long as we're doing that and keeping our heads straight, there's a really good chance.
Yeah, we're right there. You know, there's a lot of things to look forward to. So everything will be different in Vegas. There's no home court advantage. It's just neutral site. And we're right there. You know, just a little possessions, it really matters, and I feel like we can do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was at the top of the scout, but how did you guys out-rebound San Diego State by, 16?
I didn't even know we did that.
No, I mean, it's like I said, like guys came with the right energy, right mentality. Like there was Coach Sundance had on the scout, but when you see guys, like their eyes look different. You know what I mean? So they're locked in, they're dialed. So that's what had them. Not even surprised.
Oh, you're obviously a competitor. I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of talking going on the court. What was going on in that? I think it was 3 techs in 40 seconds. I mean, what was going on from your vantage point?
Honestly, I'm a little used to a warning. From the first matchup, it was a little edgy. You know, everybody knew what they were on the first matchup. So as a team in the huddles, we were just like, hey, we gotta punch first. And I didn't think the ref was gonna tech just like that. I obviously wanted a warning at least, but you know, in a game like that, we just have to learn to keep our heads. You know, I'm gonna keep my head in the next game, and you know, we just want to improve from that.
Yeah. Dante, I know we just talked a little bit about it, but what's this year meant for you, just coming here and playing for Sundance and playing here at Wyoming?
Honestly, bro, it's meant everything. I mean, it's my last season. Obviously, I mean, this team off the floor, this team on the court, like our team fights, our team, is together, connected. So I just, you know what I mean? Like, hey, the job's not done.
Yeah.
The job's not finished. So I just can't wait. Like he said, we right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
What's the message with a 1-point lead at halftime going from Sundance?
The halftime score does not
score
matter.
don't matter.
It does not matter. We don't want to feel good or feel bad, no matter what the halftime score is. We just want to go out there and try to be better than our first half. That's the biggest thing.
Is it nice to see Scotty kind of back into the mix now?
Big time. That was amazing. A lot of us have all our different opinions on his playing time and what he's doing, but everybody on this team knows he's super special.
Yeah.
And when he gets in and he's able to impact the game the way he has been doing, it's really good for us. So I'm just glad he's back in the lineup for us.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Sounds good.
Those barbecue meatballs from altitude.
Is this it?
Yep. All right, go.
It's such good weather. Where'd everybody go, Is Anthony on vacation?
He went to the
Fort Collins.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess that's going on too. I hope they get that one. Gosh.
We did.
Wait, what?
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. C-O-W-G-I-R-F-S.
17
Cowgirls,
rebounds.
Cowgirls, Cowgirls. What's that?
17 rebounds.
He's a beast. Let's go. That's always so good. I'll say it. It's good job, girls. Good job.
Go ahead. Talk about that.
Yep. My dad had a saying growing up. When I was a kid, and I'm learning it with my kids now, 5 and 3-year-old. They say if and but a lot. Dad, but what if this, Dad, but. And my dad always said, if and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a merry time. Okay. And if we would have got one more stop, if we would have made one more shot, if we would have had one less turnover, if we would have had one more free throw blockout where we didn't give up that offensive rebound, if we didn't have that unforced error, if, and there's been a lot of ifs in this season. Rudyard Kipling has a poem, correct? You know what that poem's titled? If. It's an unbelievable poem. You should read it. And it says a lot about the competitive resilience in that poem. It talks a lot about resilience. And to me, I read that poem before the game today, and it gave me peace and a little bit knowing there's some things you can control and things you can't. And I'm still learning the mental math of this team, even down the stretch here. And this is the sad reality of just being with a bunch of guys on senior night. You're just seeing their parents for the first time. Like Pekka, Toko's dad, for the first time. Just seeing some parents for the first time, right? And that's something that needs to be fostered over a period of time to learn about the upbringing of who these guys are. And maybe if you get to know guys a little bit more, or if you get a little bit more connected, maybe that's, and I always believe that's a secret sauce when you got 7 games that you played and you've lost by 4 points or less. There's just a little bit something that you just need to foster a little bit more, and you got to have some time to get that. And I want to say that next year's team will be a lot more resilient in these moments because we'll use a lot of these teach tapes for these guys to help them learn these lessons, because you don't have to climb the mountain to know how tall it is. San Diego State is a hell of a basketball team. They've always been. We played them twice to really, really, really good games. And we out-rebounded them by 17, which I don't know if a Wyoming team has done that for a while against those guys. And dominated in some fashions, just from a physicality standpoint. But, if and buts, but didn't hit the big shot, didn't get the big stop that we needed to. And that always comes down to those moments, those one possessions. We're talking about one stop all the time in practice. One stop. And I'm still holding out hope that coming down the stretch here with Fresno and as you go into the 3rd season, that these things will come to light, right? But I'm really proud of the guys that went out there and competed their butts off tonight against those guys. I would have loved to see a little fewer paper cuts and mental mistakes, but I'm not going to fault the effort because we've been searching for that for a couple games here. To just play our style of play and to have the game and the pace that we wanted to have and know that it's going to be a possession game. We knew it. And we knew that if we could keep it close, we might put a little game pressure on them and there might be some crazy things happen, and some crazy things happened tonight. And it was a wild game. It was a fun college basketball game to be a part of. That's why when Dutcher shakes your hand, he's like, you sure do love this profession, don't you, when you play in games like this. It's just nuts. It's crazy. But that's why people love college athletics, man. It's just, It's why I love it. This is why you can get a different spin every night.
So, just going back to what you said yesterday, I know Cody asked you. I mean, it must have been tough to question your team's toughness at certain points. I mean, tonight had to be the response you wanted to see out of these guys, right?
I mean, look, this time of the season, you want teams to compete, right? I mean, look at the Utah State-Colorado State game today. Man, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Everybody's allowed an outlier every once in a while, but that's a weird one. And you want to be the team that's competing at this time. You want to be the team that's competing at this time of the year. And I was worried about that for a little bit. I'm not, when you shorten the bench, I think guys play a little bit harder in a lot of ways, and I think it sends a little bit more messages, and I don't mean to do that to be personal with anybody. It's just you got to have a rotation where it's consistent and the numbers make sense. And we dove into the math and the metrics, and those are the guys that gave us the best chance based on the numbers. And so going down the stretch here, it's going to get tightened up still. And you're going to have, but if you play 4 games in 4 days, if you get a chance to win multiple games down in Vegas, you're going to have those guys that maybe didn't see some tick this game or maybe next game be ready. You just don't know. But yeah, that competitive resilience down the stretch is important because you don't want to be that team that's not competing in March.
Is this the team that you want other teams to kind of be afraid of?
This is the irrational confidence team that can go on almost beat anybody, right? Like I don't say beat anybody because we haven't at that time, but almost beat anybody. And we may go down in history as the team that almost beat everybody, right? It's a weird phrase to say, like this might be the team that we almost beat everybody. We were close, horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Yeah. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to laugh and jest, but it's a lot, man. That's a lot. I referenced my first year at Missouri Western. Shout out Griffs. We went 12-18 and we lost 6 games by 2 possessions or less, and we used that as a teach tape for our staff and our players for the next year. And then we flipped that to 18 wins. So that 12-18 went to 18-12, 18-14, because you learned how to win those close games because you can use that. You never learn as much as a coach or in a program as you do in your first year. You never learn as much. The first year stuff it's a fire hose, right? You're drinking through a fire hose and it's flooding you. And you never learn as much as you do in year 1. And that point, that's where I always say, judge the adjustments going forward. What do we do going forward? How do we prepare? How do we recruit? How do we make our processes better for the next year going forward in the Mountain West?
In a couple years, when you do get it going, how do you want like Obi and Dante to feel about starting to push that rock uphill for you?
We're going to reference guys a lot, man, that have fought through a lot of adversity, right? There's a value in that. I never envy the undefeated, right? Dante's been on some really good teams, played in some tournament. Obi's been on some really good teams. And not to say this isn't the best or the worst team they've ever played on or ever will play on, but trying years, they test you as a man and then they give you more resilience going forward. The hard things in life, if you handle them the right way or if you learn from them, they do give you a level of callousness that, I got these blisters right here that, they don't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
They don't sting as much. I know how to respond quicker to that. I can get over that faster. Right, that's the mental maturity that you're looking for when you become an older person, as a dad, going through these things, you're seeing these things. Life throws a lot of curveballs at you, and I want those guys to look back at this program, look back at this year, and be like, that was a year that built them up a little bit. It built them. They built them some resilience. It tested their fortitude, and because of that, when their fortitude is tested in the future, they will understand how to handle it and respond in certain ways.
Were you waiting for Dutcher to get tossed, or what was? Have you ever seen 3 techs in like 40 seconds?
And that was a new one for me. Also, no timeouts with 7 minutes to go was a new one for me. So it's just like that's where you hope that your team keeps it right there, so we can have those on the fly timeouts and on the fly huddles. I don't know, man. I'm not one to talk about refs or any of that stuff, but I do know this. We made 2 really unbelievable defensive plays where we guarded our butt off, and there was a charge, maybe, if they would have called it, or a push off, if they would have called it, that resulted in a big 3 by those guys, and that was a big momentum play for us. And I know, like, if that's in these games, like, I just want our guys to be able to have a chance to go compete and say I did everything I could in my power. And I know angles are different for everybody, so I look at that stuff and I go, man, I'm proud of how my guys competed defensively, and sometimes the breaks don't go your way, and sometimes the whistles don't go your way.
Good.
Thanks, guys.